Whispers have turned into concern. And now, the silence is finally broken. Bishop T.D. Jakes, one of the most influential spiritual leaders of our time, is facing a decline in health that no one saw coming. But it's what his daughter, Sarah Jakes Roberts, just revealed that has everyone talking. What's really going on behind the pulpit? Why is the Jakes family keeping things so close to the chest? Stay with us, because what you're about to hear may change how you see everything. When the name T.D. Jakes is mentioned, a few things instantly come to mind: powerful sermons, unwavering faith, international influence, and an empire built on spiritual leadership. But recently, a different kind of story has emerged, one that's left fans, followers, and the faith community deeply concerned. Behind the scenes, murmurs have grown louder. The once vibrant bishop, known for his commanding presence and fiery delivery, has been appearing less frequently, with noticeable changes in his physical condition. Some chalk it up to stress. Others whisper, it's far more serious. Still, there was no official word from the church. No public statement. Just silence. And in today's digital age, silence speaks volumes. Over the last year, longtime viewers of the Potter's House began noticing subtle shifts: fewer live appearances, shorter sermons, and a slightly more fragile posture behind the podium. Yes, Bishop Jakes recently turned 67. But to many, this was about more than just age. They noticed the pauses, the moments where his words seemed more labored, and the increasing number of guest preachers filling in on Sunday mornings. Then came the photos, circulating online, showing a noticeably thinner, more solemn Bishop Jakes. His eyes, usually bright with spiritual fire, now looked tired. Fans took to social media. One wrote, "This doesn't look like the bishop we've known. Something's not right." Another, praying for T.D. Jakes. "You can see the weight of something heavy on him." Still, no confirmation. Just silence. But behind that silence, sources close to the family say urgent internal discussions were underway. Not just about Bishop Jakes' health, but about the future of the Potter's House. And whether it was time to pass the torch. Enter Sarah Jakes Roberts. More than just Bishop Jakes' daughter, she is his spiritual protege, his ministry partner, and in many ways, his mirror. Sarah has risen from a once troubled teen into one of the most powerful female voices in modern ministry. Her sermons go viral. Her books inspire. Her Woman Evolve movement touches millions. But behind her public strength, few saw the personal burden she was carrying. And then, she finally spoke. In a recent interview, she didn't directly mention her father's health. But she said something that struck a nerve. Sometimes, God doesn't give us the full picture. Sometimes, He just shows us enough to keep going, one painful step at a time. To most, it seemed like a spiritual reflection. But to those who know the Jakes family, that pain wasn't just about faith. It was personal. Later in that same conversation, Sarah paused, collected herself, and added, "There's been a weight. Not just on him, but on all of us. When you're used to someone being your rock, your foundation, and then you see that rock begin to tremble, it does something to your soul." That was it. The moment fans had feared, but needed. Without revealing too much, Sarah had confirmed what many suspected. Yes, something has changed. Yes, Bishop Jakes is facing more than just exhaustion. And yes, the family is preparing for what comes next. People close to Sarah say she's been stepping up, not just in ministry, but in private. She's spending more time at her father's side. Quietly adjusting her schedule. Quietly preparing, emotionally, spiritually, for a reality she never thought would come this soon. One insider reportedly said, Sarah didn't want to speak about it publicly. But she knew people were speculating. She wanted to protect her father and the congregation. So, she said just enough, without saying too much. Even in this deeply personal season of grief, Sarah is still carrying the torch. Still preaching. Still pouring into others. Still leading. But the question many now ask is this: is she ready to lead in his place? This transition didn't happen overnight. In 2017, Bishop Jakes officially ordained Sarah under the Potter's House umbrella. It was a monumental moment, both symbolic and strategic. Sarah had already launched Woman Evolve. Her voice resonated deeply with modern believers, especially women navigating faith, failure, and personal growth. But Bishop Jakes didn't stop there. Over the next several years, Sarah was slowly handed more spiritual responsibility. She preached at major conferences, collaborated on devotionals and summits, sat in on core leadership meetings, and quietly became part of her father's inner circle. This wasn't random delegation. This was succession. And now, with Bishop Jakes' presence noticeably reduced and his health reportedly declining, the urgency of that transition is becoming painfully real. Church staff have described the shift. Sarah is now attending more high-level meetings, leading prayer services in place of her father, even taking on counseling roles once reserved for Bishop Jakes himself. One anonymous church staffer shared, "This has been happening for a while. But it's more serious now. Everyone is preparing themselves, mentally, emotionally, because we know change is coming. But this isn't just about a new leader. It's about a legacy." Bishop Jakes built a movement, not just a ministry. One that spanned generations, races, denominations, and even nations. Passing that on isn't as simple as a Sunday sermon. It's a spiritual mantle, a generational baton. And Sarah Jakes Roberts is the one holding it now. But here's where it gets even more emotional. Sources close to the Jakes family have revealed something that has sent chills through the Potter's House community. Bishop Jakes is preparing his final message. Not just another sermon. A legacy statement. A farewell. A deeply personal reflection on his decades of ministry, his regrets, and most importantly, his hope for what comes next. No date has been given. No details leaked. But those closest to him say, when that final message comes, it will mark not just the end of a chapter, but the beginning of a new one.